downpoured last night and our tarps all caved in, so there's like a big pool on top of our tarps and some of them caved in and completely soaked our floor. It's not so great for it. We put up some really shoddy looking supports to hold up the tarp, so hopefully it won't cave in and it'll stay relatively dry in here. I don't think we're getting a lot done for the next few days. It's supposed to keep raining. So we were making good progress and now everything's kind of a mess in here.
This seems like a good time to take a break and tell you why we're bothering to build a tiny house instead of just buying an RV. After some research, we came up with a budget of about $18,000 for completing the tiny house. We're pretty confident we'll be able to stick to this by doing nearly all of the work ourselves and using some salvaged materials. This budget would put most motorhomes or fifth wheels well out of reach and limit us to old models or inexpensive travel trailers. With their lightweight aluminum or fiberglass construction, travel trailers are relatively easy to tow and great for a vacation, but really not built for long-term living. Aesthetically, we like Airstream trailers, and we might have gone this way if we were planning to spend more time on the road. In the end, we felt we could build something that would be unique, better insulated, charming to look at, and just feel more like a real home that we'd be happy to live in for a long time. Tiny homes are definitely not light or aerodynamic and probably make more sense if you'd be staying put for longer periods of time and only occasionally towing the house. We chose the 18-foot trailer in an effort to find a balance between comfort and towability.
It's a teardrop. The tears that would come out of my eyes if I had to live in it.
Alright, Ashley, tell us everything you know about our new truck.
Okay. This is a Ford F-250 from 2000. Heavy duty V10 gas engine.
Yeah,
Triton V10.
big giant gas hog of an engine.
It can tow up to 14,000 pounds. 13? 12. Something like that. That's my guess.
You sound like you're just making this up.
No, I read it a little bit. What else do I know about this truck?
I don't know.
John installed a whole bunch of crap. He's been working on the truck like every day, even though there's nothing wrong with it.
That's not true.
He changed the oil twice already from all of our drives and added some sort of braking thing for the trailer because the trailer needs its own brakes, which I didn't know.
I don't know what this is, but I don't think we really need it anyways, probably. Don't worry about that. Changed out these sway bar links, which were pretty trashed. Did that and changed the filter in the transmission. Now I'm changing the engine oil and replacing the filter. So we can make this whole thing reliable. Today we are getting ready to put on the roof, or at least the rafters and the ridge beam. So we need to take down our temporary structure that was holding up the tarps and get ready to put the roof together. So far we have the walls framed, the plywood sheeting on, the Tyvek house wrap on, so it's fairly well weatherproofed. We had a tarp covering the whole top, but we just took that off to get ready to put on the roof today. I don't know how many days we are into this. It's been a couple weeks, but we definitely haven't been working every day because of the weather. And what else we have done? We have the porches put together. The little deck is done here. And you want to come inside. For the framing, we did 16 inches on center with 2x4s. We have our windows framed in. We got headers up above the windows, make sure everything's nice and strong. We have to take down this mess today. This was just holding up the tarps. We need to first put in the big ridge beam, and then we can start cutting rafters and building the roof.
The ridge beam is made of 2x6s glued and screwed together to achieve the 20-foot length we needed. We're using 2x4s for the rafters to save on weight and headroom, but by using spray foam we should still have plenty of space for insulation. We were both feeling pretty rusty with our math skills and trying to figure out the angles and lengths for the rafters, but they ended up fitting together nicely.
Now we can see they're
With the rafters for the pitched section of the roof complete, we moved on to the dormers. Getting the dormers installed was a little sketchy, with both of us on ladders and me trying to balance the dormer on top of the wall while John drove in the screws. We decided it would be easier to get the rest of the rafters up if we built the loft first, so we switched gears and started cutting beams from some cast-off boards we found in the wood pile.
So we just got done installing our loft for the second time. We used some old boards that we found lying around. But we used these deck supports, which turned out to be a little bit more challenging than you would think. Just with the two of us only trying to hold the boards in place and screw in the brackets in the right place, so it took a little messing up before we got it right. And then also with the old wood, some of them are a little bit bowed, so using the strap to kind of force this front piece into the right place helped screw them in nice and tight, so it's looking good now.
We have to finish putting up the rafters above the dormers. Well, first we're going to get the decking on the loft, that way we can stand up there and make it a lot easier. So after we got the rafters all put up, so we get the fascia for the soffits and everything on, I had to do some blocking and stuff to make sure we have attachment points for all the plywood that's going up.
Finally, we were ready to put up the plywood sheeting for the roof. Again, it was a bit challenging without scaffolding, but we made it work. And luckily, John's brother was around to help us with the hardest to reach sections.
Just finished putting on the ice and water shield. Really right now between the Tyvek and the ice and water shield, the house is actually fairly well weathered in. Usually you'd only use this on part of your roof, but since the house is so small, we just use that on the entire roof. Yeah, before putting on your ice and water shield or felt or whatever you're using, you want to definitely put on the flashing first and then have the felt or the ice and water shield come over the top of that, so it doesn't just create a spot where it leaks directly underneath your flashing, because then the flashing isn't doing any good. Well, the roof is a very steep pitch, 12-12 pitch, so yeah, walking up there is challenging. We don't have any kind of scaffolding, so I was just straddling the top of the house, reaching over the edge, putting it on. Maybe not the safest way to do it, but it felt safer than trying to reach from the top of the ladder. It went on. It has some wrinkles in it, but it looks pretty good. It should be waterproof. So. I actually drew this pattern. I'm cutting it out with the jigsaw. So this was kind of inspired by some little cottage style houses that we saw in Martha's Vineyard during our sailing. So I'm going to add some slightly more intricate detail to our gables.
So I wasn't quite sure about our roof color choice at first. We had to special order it, so we just kind of decided to go for it when we were in the store, and then here it is, and we like it. John said that he would be able to get it done in an afternoon, and I thought it was one of those things that it would actually take like 3 days or maybe a week, but actually it's almost done.
We were able to order the panels cut to length for the main part of the roof, but we still have to make some cuts to fit the pieces around the dormers. And to cut through the roofing, I'm using a skill saw with a metal cutting blade in it. Where we cut the metal edging, I'm using some spray paint to cover that up. It doesn't quite match, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be underneath the flashing anyways, just so it doesn't rust. Probably should grind some of that down. It's rather jagged. The roofing material mostly looks really good. But these pieces, the flashing for the gables and stuff, seem excessively large for our project. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. How far the things can come down. Might be too much. This is our new resized flashing. Before, when we ordered the roof and all the components and flashing and ridge cap and everything, we realized when we opened up the flashing and went to install that it was pretty ridiculously oversized for the size of our project. So we found a local machine shop that was able to actually cut the flashing in half and then reshape it to have the same shape we started out with, but half the size. And so this worked out much better. So the roof is finally finished.
Oh, and the windows are installed. We snuck that part in one day to make ourselves feel better when nothing else was coming together. In the next episode, we'll rough in electrical and install our siding, so from the outside at least, it will look like a finished tiny house.
For the tiny house, the truck is also a considerable expense that you have to consider. Shut up.
Wait, come back. I thought of something else I know about the truck.
Okay, what else do you know about the truck?